life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did that.
To apologize. It's too
When I did it, I was fucked up.
late to apologize.
I was fucked up.
It's too late.
When I did it, I was fucked up. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now you see now, you done fuck.
I absolutely cannot. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Christmas morning wake-up call, okay? And so as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, all right? That's the least you can do, okay? And also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr_A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay, that was a very Merry Christmas to you all from Diddy and Jay-Z. All right, and Drake. Okay, so the internet is undefeated. All right, someone sent that to me this morning, and I was literally rolling. Okay, Auntie Leah says, I can't take you serious sometimes, Queen. Okay, so hello, Buckhorse DC, Auntie Leah, Ethelene. All right, Luna is here. Lamar, Ty's Kitchen is in the house. Latasha, Danielle, Reggie. Okay, Reggie Berry is here. All right, Bobo, Battle Axe. Okay, Deronda, I see you. Red Wine Entertainment, Laverne, Most Hated Bronze Flat Power God. So the usual suspects are here. All right. Let's get into it. Everyone like and share. Okay, we're going to make this brief because I know you guys have things to do. Hey, Liz, Mr. X, Laverne, did I say you? Okay, so vote blue no matter who is in the house. Now, listen, Root Trackers is here. Listen, I'm going to ask you guys to please be careful of what you put in the chat. Buckhorse DC, my beloved, I had to delete one of your comments. Okay, let's not say nasty things about anyone, all right? Young Moses is in the house. All right, welcome, Young Moses from Cali. Okay, Terry Hartfield, Namaste is here. Joshua Izam, or Izam. I hope I said that right. Okay, so let's get into it, pretty wings. Likes up, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. It's very important that you do. And also, let me remind you guys, hey, Woody T and TC Dan, and shout out to my moderators for putting in work. Okay, let me remind you guys to please double check and make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you're not receiving notifications, because you know that they have the poor little old Queen shadow banned, okay? For all the truth that I was telling in the past that they just couldn't take. Okay, so make sure that you're still subscribed because people do get unsubscribed. Okay, so that all been said, let's get into it. I see you, RG Titan. And so let me just tell y'all, honey, y'all know Diddy is now talking about defamation. I find it all so interesting and quite frankly nefarious. Diddy is now talking about allegation because you know that Jay-Z added defamation, as I reported to you guys on yesterday. You heard it here first. I told you guys on yesterday that Jay-Z added defamation to his lawsuit against Tony Busby. Okay, and I'm going to tell you all something about that in a second, about this whole thing with Tony Busby and Jay-Z and the filing of lawsuits and whatnot. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, here's what they say. More than 100 people are to sue rap musician Sean Diddy Combs for assault, rape, and sexual exploitation. Okay, now, Texas-based attorney Tony Busby said that some of the alleged victims include minors who were abused when they were as young as 9 years old, saying that this is an important matter that we intend to aggressively pursue. Now, Erica Wolf, she's one of the attorneys that is currently representing Mr. Combs. She says the rapper emphatically and categorically denies the allegations and now says that they're false and defamatory. Yeah, said that they're false and defamatory. Ms. Wolf said in a statement that Mr. Combs looks forward to proving his innocence and vindicating himself in court, where the truth will be established based on evidence, not speculation. Okay, that's what she said about the latest action against Mr. Combs. So I find it also interesting. And, meanwhile, Diddy says he's done nothing wrong. He denies all of these criminal allegations that have been set forth and levied against him. But, Mr. Busby says, not so fast. There's like hundreds of people that are saying you did all these nefarious things from a span of 1991 up until 2022, I do believe was the last one. Okay, so please pay attention. And let's not forget that 9-year-old, the person who alleges that they were 9 years old when something happened to them. And here's the thing. This is what I want you all to pay attention to. Megyn Kelly seems to think that Jay-Z didn't really do anything. She had a panel discussion where she said that, Jay-Z is basically, she didn't say he was innocent, but they said a whole lot about the victim, that would lead one to think, that maybe the victim is lying. And maybe the victim is lying. Let's just be honest. I mean, some of her story doesn't check out. Some of the things don't make any sense. But at the end of the day, I do think that Jay-Z has done some things. Okay, maybe not in this case, but in some cases, I believe he's done some things. Because you cannot tell me, no one should be expected to believe that Jay-Z didn't know what Diddy had going on. And the fact that Jay-Z came out in such full force against Tony Busby leads me to think that he absolutely has something that he wants to hide. Okay. And now they're digging up all this old dirt on Jay-Z. Okay. And let's not forget the lawsuits that were filed against Jay-Z and Beyonce alleging sex trafficking of children. Now, of course, they were deemed frivolous. Okay. But, sometimes that's to be expected if things sound a bit far-fetched. All right. But so anyway, I absolutely think that Jay-Z has some dirt on his hands, is all I'm saying. And one of the things that I think about his attorney, Alex Spiro, who I think is nefarious, okay, while we're sitting here talking about Busby, one thing that I'm noticing about Mr. Alex Spiro is he's using a tactic. I want you all to pay attention. And just remember you heard this here first, because people love to steal the Queen's talking points because unlike most, I have critical thinking skills, okay? And I'm very good at analyzing and, pointing out certain things and bringing things to light is all I'm saying. Now, here's the thing. Mr. Alex Spiro, in my opinion, is using the same tactics that was used when John Gotti, okay, and his crime family or crime mob was in the court, okay? Because basically what they did in that case, the prosecution was able to attach his attorneys to the RICO charges, okay? So therefore, he was, he no longer had good counsel. Okay, he had to seek counsel elsewhere. So they were able to attach RICO charges to John Gotti's lawyers. Now, I want you to pay attention because I'm not saying that's exactly what Alex Spiro is doing, but I think that he's taking a page out of the handbook because here's what he seems to be doing, in my opinion. Trying to bog Tony Busby down with litigation so that he can, and litigation on himself, so that he cannot effectively and actively, pursue all of these allegations against Diddy and Jay-Z. Now, I'm going to tell you because here's the thing. Let's not forget that Mr. Busby claims to have audio, recordings of Jay-Z's team trying to bribe his former clients to pursue frivolous charges against him or frivolous allegations against him. Okay, and now Jay-Z's piling on more to the extortion, okay, case that he had. He's now saying it's defamation. Well, how is it defamation when attorneys always accuse people of things that their clients are bringing to them? That's something that's commonplace. Now, if we start suing attorneys for defamation simply because they're filing cases against us, then the next thing you know, they'll be doing the same thing to judges. And then it gets really out of pocket and out of hand. And so in my opinion, Mr. Spirit, hey, Elder Baba Rashawn Live. And so my thing is Alex Spiro, what he's doing is he's first of all draining Jay-Z's pockets. That's one thing he's doing. He's draining Jay-Z's pockets at the end of the day. And he's at the same time trying to get Tony Busby wrapped up in litigation so that he can't focus on his own cases. And then also so that hoping that he'll be taken off of the case. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Hoping that Tony Busby will get so bogged down with litigation upon himself that he'll have to end up because he's not able to focus and because the rest of his legal team will say, well, we don't need you on the case. You need to just back down and let us deal with this. Basically trying to get Tony Busby off the case. Off of the cases. That's absolutely what I think. And as I said, I can't substantiate that, but that's what it looks and sounds like to me. And I'm going to tell you right now, all Tony Busby needs is one more person to come out with an allegation against Jay-Z. Now, they can debunk the woman who claims she was 13. She may be lying. I don't know. As I said before, that's for the court to decide. But at the end of the day, all they need is one more person to come out and make an allegation against Jay-Z. And then what are they going to say and do? Okay, I just want you all to pay attention because I find it all very interesting. So now that all being said, they've already started digging up dirt on Jay-Z, okay, his cheating scandals, his lawsuits, all the past controversies involving Jay-Z. So let's get into it. Okay, Jay-Z may be the richest rapper in the world, but his billionaire status isn't immune to scandals. Now, in a year that has been an eye-opener for the music industry with the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs, every musician connected to the disgraced rapper is now under the scanner, including his longtime friend, Jay-Z. Please pay attention that they said including his longtime friend. Okay, this is someone who said they weren't friends with Diddy at all, ever. Okay, please pay attention. Now, after being named in an assault lawsuit alongside Diddy, fans are now digging up other headline-grabbing incidents from the rapper's past. Let's take a look into the past controversies and scandals of Jay-Z. Starting with the most recent controversy involving him, the rapper has been named in an assault lawsuit that was initially filed against Diddy in October. However, was recently amended in December to include Jay-Z, officially known as Sean Carter. Now, while the musician has vehemently denied the allegations, he seems to now have entered into a war of words with the alleged victim's attorney, Tony Busby, whom he also sued for attempting to extort exorbitant sums from him by making false claims. Now, the high-profile attorney who is currently handling multiple lawsuits against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been hit with a new accusation in a lawsuit that alleges he infected a woman identified as Jane Doe with a venereal disease. Since then, Busby was hit back at Jay-Z's Roc Nation, accusing the entertainment company of attempting to discredit him. Now, while the ongoing lawsuit has put Jay-Z in the spotlight, it's not the only scandal that the rapper has been involved in, from his relationship with Beyonce to raising business decisions that are coming to surface again, and there are many skeletons in his past that are now gaining fresh publicity. So let's talk about some of the biggest ones. In a massive development, the accuser of the civil suit filed against Jay-Z, alleging that he assaulted her with Diddy, recently gave an interview on NBC News, which was where she recounted the catastrophic event. Now, during the interview, she said she spoke with musicians Benji Madden and his brother at the VMAs after party, and also mentioned that her father picked her up after the alleged assault. Now, following the interview, NBC reported that a representative of the Maddens said they were touring the Midwest during the VMAs, and also that her father said that he does not recall their drive time. Despite the seeming inconsistencies to her account, the accuser has said that she stands by her allegations. Now, I want you all to pay attention. Because did Benji Madden's people prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, did they prove that he was touring the Midwest? Because you all remember, I showed you receipts that said otherwise. Okay, I showed you guys receipts that absolutely said otherwise. So I find it interesting that now they're saying that this young woman is mistaken. I showed you receipts where this other guy placed what's the guy's name? It was two of the people that she spoke with. Okay, and one of them was supposedly seen at the after party. All right, and then also when you look up Benji Madden's tour date, it started supposedly after the Grammys, which was September the 7th of 2000, and I believe the tour date was September the 26th of 2000. Okay, I'll likely pull that video up in a moment. Okay, but anyway, I find it all interesting because I'm just wondering, are they just saying this, or do they have receipts to verify and prove this? Okay, because anyone can say anything as far as I'm concerned. Now, responding to the interview, Jay-Z has maintained this incident didn't happen. He told NBC in a statement on December the 14th, referring to lawyer Tony Busby, and yet he filed, this is what he said, referring to Tony Busby. He says, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. And then he says, true justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. Now, let's talk about the stabbing incident when Lance Rivera claims that Jay-Z had stabbed him. And then he came back and said that, oh, it wasn't really Jay-Z. So Jay-Z's trouble with the law in 2024 isn't the first time that the rapper has found himself dealing with a serious case. Back in 1999, he grabbed headlines for pleading guilty to third-degree assault of the former music executive and record producer Lance Rivera. Now, the State of Mind rapper was sentenced to 3 years of probation in the case, where he was accused of stabbing Rivera in the stomach and the shoulder. Now, the altercation reportedly occurred during the rapper confronting the record producer over leaking his third album, Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter. And so I have several questions. This man comes out after the fact, after Jay-Z's taking a whole plea deal, okay, and then given probation. This man comes out and says that Jay-Z didn't really do it. Here's what he said in 2023, nearly 2 decades after the incident. Rivera spoke out about the incident in an interview, clarifying that Jay-Z was not the guy who actually stabbed me that night. He says, while he admitted that the rapper was present during the occurrence of the violent incident, he noted that the duo had a brief conversation. I don't believe that. I think that he was probably paid to come out and say that. Now, I could be wrong, but I could also be absolutely right. I don't believe that. You mean to tell me this man sat there and lied and just put this on Jay-Z, knowing Jay-Z didn't do it, and then Jay-Z went ahead and confessed to it, admitted to it, and then took a plea deal? Well, here's one of the reasons I don't believe that, because for one, as we can see how Jay-Z is handling this whole allegation against him from Tony Busby's victim, Jane Doe, he's coming out and saying it never happened. I didn't do it. He's not trying to settle behind closed doors. He even went so far as to sue Tony Busby through a slew of insults, and now allegedly his team has tried to bribe people and all of that. So it just shows to me that Jay-Z is a person who's willing to go to extraordinary lengths to prove his point, okay, and to not have things levied against him that stick, okay? Not things that stick. Claudette said, Queen, I don't believe it either, okay? So that all been said, I think Jay-Z absolutely did stab this man, and that's why he took a plea deal. And then the man coming out years later and saying that it wasn't so, yeah, I think that he was paid to say that. That's just my opinion. Now, let's not forget the elevator incident with Solange, okay? There was family drama. It says, now, who knew at a Met Gala after party that it could turn into an event or an evening of family drama involving the Knowles Carter family? But much to the surprise of everyone, it did. One of the 2014's biggest controversial moments was the release of video footage showcasing Beyonce's sister Solange Knowles attacking Jay-Z in an elevator while the single ladies singer stood by as a witness. A surveillance video captured Solange and Jay-Z arguing inside the Standard High Line in New York City on May the 5th. Let me tell you all something. Beyonce was fine with that. She was complicit when Solange attacked Jay-Z. And how do you know that she was all there for it? It's because she didn't try to stop her sister. Beyonce didn't raise one finger, to my recollection, to try to stop Solange from attacking her man. Now, if my sister's trying to attack my man and he didn't do anything to warrant that, I'm going to try to interrupt it, interject, going to try to get between them and try to stop it. Okay? So clearly, Beyonce felt like Solange had a reason, a good one, to put pause on Jay-Z. It's all I'm saying. Now, so with that all being said, a surveillance video captured Solange and Jay-Z arguing inside the Standard elevator, okay, the Standard High Line in New York City. Okay, the clip showcased the losing you singer yelling at the rapper before wildly hitting and kicking him as seemingly a security guard stepped in, trying to restrain her. A security guard, not Beyonce. Now, at one point, the video also showcased Beyonce standing. Oh, but Beyonce did stand between her husband and sister. Now, the widely circulated surveillance video was not obtained and released, or it was retained and released by TMZ on May the 12th. Now, Beyonce stood in the middle for a second, but was she really trying to stop Solange? It didn't look like it to me. Okay. Now, following the release of the footage in public, a joint statement was released by the Knowles Carter family, acknowledging the unfortunate incident and claiming that Jay-Z and Solange had worked through their issues and apologized to each other. Now, years later, in his song Kill Jay-Z, from his 2017 album 444, the rapper hinted at the incident as he saying, you egged Solange on, knowing all along. Okay. See, that's what I'm telling you. Beyonce was complicit. She didn't really have a problem with Solange putting pause on him. Okay. Says you egged Solange on, knowing all along. All you had to say was you was wrong. All right. Now, later in an interview with the rap radar host Elliot Wilson and Brian B. Miller, he also called Solange his sister, not my sister-in-law, while admitting that they have a great relationship post the viral incident. Now, then there's the shooting of his brother. Remember that? Which I just recently found out. I didn't even know anything about this. This was news to me. Now, among the list of controversies involving Jay-Z, there is also one that dates back to his childhood. Now, the rapper, during a 2010 interview with The Guardian, opened up about a scary incident from his past, including the day when, at 12 years old, he shot his drug-addicted older brother in the shoulder for stealing a piece of jewelry. Okay, recalling how shaken the incident left him. He said, I thought I'd go to jail forever. Now, he further added that I was a boy, a child. I was terrified. Lucky for him, his brother recovered from the shooting and declined to press charges. But the episode left Jay-Z completely distressed, and he later also rapped about it in his 1997 track, You Must Love Me. Okay. Decades later in 2022, Jay-Z's mentor, Jazz O, reflected on his role in the shooting and revealed that he was the one who gave Jay the gun. This is all nefarious. I mean, I didn't have any such things on my mind when I was growing up. And I guess that's what happens when you grow up in the projects, because Jay-Z is straight out of Marcy. Okay, so drug dealing past. Jay-Z is a billionaire rapper and a hip-hop legend today, but his difficult past is reflected in the words, from grams to Grammys. Okay. Then he raps in Dirt Off Your Shoulder. Now, the Brooklyn-born rapper addressed his hard life as a child, particularly after his father had abandoned the family, which led to him dealing drugs. Now, speaking to Vanity Fair, the rapper addressed how he was selling drugs at the age of 13. And while he didn't use them, it was only a tool for survival, reflecting on how he felt about contributing to the crack epidemic that surged in the United States throughout the 1980s and the 1990s. He said, not until later when I realized the effects of it. Okay, I started looking at the community on the whole, but in the beginning, no, I was thinking about surviving. I was thinking about improving my situation. I was thinking about buying clothes. That's what he said. I was thinking about buying clothes. Now, before Diddy's arrest and recent lawsuit, it was a cheating scandal that first put Jay-Z and Beyonce's marriage in danger. Now, while the couple's marriage has stood the test of time, it wasn't long ago that the rapper opened up about his infidelity that almost pushed them towards divorce. Okay, and so in 2017, the rapper remorsefully opened up about cheating on his wife and said, the hardest thing is seeing pain on someone's face that you caused and then have to deal with yourself. And so the couple also spelled out their marriage troubles in two separate albums, as Beyonce dropped Lemonade in 2016 and Jay-Z released 444 a year later. In her critically acclaimed album, Beyonce alluded to Jay-Z's cheating scandal with a famous line saying, he only want me when I'm not there. He better call Becky with the good hair. Okay, while the internet never uncovered who Becky with the good hair was, Jay-Z responded with an apology in his song 444 by rapping, look, I apologize, often womanized, took for my child to be born to see through a woman's eyes. Now, overcoming the obstacles in their marriage, Jay-Z admitted that the couple sought therapy and are in a better place today, but still working and communicating and growing. While speaking to David Letterman on Netflix's My Next Guest Needs to Know introduction in 2018. And then in 2001, there was the gun possession. Another incident that saw Jay-Z have a run-in with the law was when the Grammys winning rapper and 3 other men were arrested in 2001 outside a Manhattan nightclub under charges of illegal gun possession. Now, it was reported at the time that the weapon was found inside the 2001 Chevrolet Suburban in which Jay-Z was riding. As per ABC News, it was Jay-Z's bodyguard, Hamsel Hewitt, who was found with a loaded Glock semi-automatic handgun, allegedly in his waistband. Now, interestingly, the rapper's arrest came shortly after a jury acquitted his friend Sean Combs of gun possession and bribery charges relating to a nightclub shooting in December of 1999. And then there was the NFL football backlash, okay, the partnership backlash. Now, in what can only be called a game-changing partnership, Jay-Z's Roc Nation partnered with the NFL in 2019 to have Roc Nation produce entertainment events for the league, including the famed Super Bowl halftime show. Now, the company announced that it would work with the NFL to enhance the live game experiences and amplify the league's social justice efforts. However, this move drew a huge amount of backlash online as netizens expressed their anger over Jay-Z's decision to work with the company that froze out footballer Colin Kaepernick after his 2016 kneeling incident in protest. For the uninitiated, Kaepernick, the former San Francisco 49ers quarterback, he began kneeling during the American national anthem in protest against racial injustice and police brutality in the USA. Now, the player's strong political stand led to his sporting career taking a severe hit as he accused NFL owners of collusion to keep him out of the league. And here's the thing. This is why I really don't understand why so many Black people try to cape for Jay-Z as if he's done so much for them. Jay-Z is the same person who sat there and said that I think we're past kneeling now. That's what he said after Colin Kaepernick lost his entire career for standing up for Black people. Okay, after he put everything on the line, after he sacrificed his entire livelihood, and then for Jay-Z to come right behind him, sign a deal with the same people, and then simply say, well, I think we're past kneeling now. And don't forget that I told you before that Jay-Z is the same person who 2 years prior or 3 years prior told Jermaine Dupri not to sign a deal with the NFL, said that it wouldn't be a good look. But yet he did it. RG Titan said he sold out a long time ago. Of course he did, beloved. He absolutely did. Now, with that all being said, Eric Reed continues to speak out against Jay-Z's partnership with the NFL. Okay, now while Jay-Z's 2018 rap song had the lines, I said no to the Super Bowl, you need me, I don't need you. A year later, Roc Nation's partnership with the NFL came as a shock to fans who called him out on his hypocrisy. Kaepernick's former teammate and Carolina Panthers defensive back Eric Reed tweeted, Jay-Z knowingly made a money move with the very people who've committed an injustice against Colin and is using social justice to smooth it over with the Black community. And that's it. You know, like, I'm so sick and tired of Black people just kissing the ass and the rings of some of these celebrities who throw us under the bus, who don't show any support for us, and who, quite frankly, choose money over community. I am so sick of it. All right? I am so sick of it because many of our people sit up here and, quite frankly, you know, just worship these people. Okay? As if many of them aren't nefarious. And then they'll deny allegations that are levied against them and then try to go in on those of us who call them to carpet, who in fact want to hold them accountable. Okay? Jay-Z is a bigger devil than people realize. He's a devil worshiper. Yes, I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe it, okay? And I find it very interesting. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about these celebrities who, quite frankly, have been told to pretty much keep their mouths shut. If you at the freak-offs with Diddy, zip it up. Don't say anything, okay? Silence is the code that they gave them. So a lawyer has urged celebrities who attended parties shown or thrown by rapper Sean Diddy Combs not to say anything that will throw them into the controversy. Now, over 200 people have claimed that they were abused by Diddy, and other big names are now also being accused. One woman has claimed that she was raped by Combs and rapper Jay-Z when she was 13. Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, has strongly denied the allegations. Now, why does this matter? Well, the case feeds into a wider social media debate about toxic masculinity, sexual harassment, and domestic violence. Combs is currently in prison. He's not in prison, he's in jail. They said prison. In Brooklyn, New York, awaiting trial on charges of trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, in a separate lawsuit, a video emerged of him beating and kicking an ex-girlfriend in Los Angeles in a hotel in 2016, for which he, of course, publicly apologized. Now, celebrities who attended Diddy's parties in New York, California, and Florida are now trying to distance themselves from him as fallout continues. And you know, like I told you guys, I absolutely believe that's why Ellen DeGeneres and Portia DeGrasse went over there to UK. Okay, this is why Ashton Kutcher wants to leave the United States. I believe this is why Leonardo DiCaprio seems to be hiding. Has anyone seen him as of late? Let's not forget that Diddy said himself out of his own mouth that Leonardo DiCaprio was the first person, okay, the most likely person and the first person to be invited to those parties. Now, Wayne Dennison, who represented Johnny Depp in his successful lawsuit against former partner Amber Heard, said that celebrities should not make public statements as it will only link them to Combs in the public eye and may attract even more lawsuits. The principal advice that I would provide these celebrities known to have attended the parties and now these infamous parties thrown by Mr. Combs is to keep your head down. Keep your head down, he says. Quite simply, there's no good reason to proactively address anything related to Mr. Combs unless and until you are dragged into the spotlight. Well, this is all true because that's exactly what's happened with Jay-Z. Jay-Z didn't say a word. He didn't come out and denounce Diddy. He didn't come out and say, oh, you know, I don't agree with the things he's done. You know, prayers for the victims if these things are true. He didn't say anything. And this is why I want you all to pay attention because Jay-Z, in fact, did not denounce Diddy until his name got dragged into it. Okay, I want you all to think about that. He didn't denounce Diddy until his name got dragged into it. And also, this is according to his own, to the insider, who says that, you know, Jay-Z basically decided to cut ties with Diddy once he was arrested, and that he pretty much made up his mind to just sever the ties also when that video of Cassie came out. So you mean to tell me before the footage came out that we all could see, before we all were privy to seeing just how heinous and low down Diddy can get, when there were all these myriad of allegations and lawsuits that were filed, Jay-Z wasn't saying anything against Diddy? No, he wasn't. Okay. No, he wasn't. He wasn't talking about severing ties. But when the proof comes out of an incident that Diddy's involved in, then he says, okay, now I got to sever ties. And then when his name gets dragged into the mix, now all of a sudden he wants to come out and start talking. Now Diddy was no longer my friend. He's never been my friend. I don't know why he called me brother. Because we were just business associates. We were just acquaintances. That's what he's now saying, which I find very interesting because, like I said, it would have served him better if he just denounced Diddy in the first place, at least denounce the actions that Diddy allegedly engaged in, not lying and saying that he wasn't his friend, because we all could see that clearly they were more than business associates. Okay, let's just keep it a buck. Now, mind you, the Jay-Z apologists will beg to differ on that, but in my opinion, they were absolutely friends. Okay, so Prince Andrew's disastrous effort to get out in front of the allegations concerning his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein should serve as a cautionary tale to those who hope to proactively persuade others that nothing untoward ever took place. Now, a woman named Virginia Giuffre had claimed that billionaire Jeffrey Epstein paid her $15,000 to have relations with Prince Andrew, the brother of King Charles of England. In 2019, Prince Andrew gave a disastrous interview on the BBC, their current affairs program, Newsnight, which only added to fuel allegations. He later settled Giuffre's lawsuit for $16 million and stepped away from the public. And so the war of words between Jay-Z and Busby continues to escalate. On December the 20th, Busby filed a letter to New York Judge Annalisa Torres in which he alleged bad faith by Jay-Z. Now, saying that the goal has been to blur the facts and rush a decision. This is what Busby says. But there is aggressive advocacy and there is bad faith. Mr. Carter's latest tactics, much like his open threat to refer plaintiff's attorneys for disciplinary action, cross the line. Jay-Z has vowed to continue with his extortion lawsuit against Busby. And, he's also added defamation. So what's next? Diddy is due to go on trial in New York in criminal court on May the 5th of 2025, and pretrial motions are continuing in the case. Dozens of lawsuits against him are also likely to come to court in 2025. So we'll see how this all pans out, because I absolutely cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, with that all being said, let me ask you all something. Cece says Busby must have a lot of evidence in Jay-Z's. Let's wait and see. I think that he does have more evidence. And like I told you guys before, I absolutely think that Busby, I told you guys Busby has something up his sleeve, and then here he comes. He comes out and drops that bomb on Jay-Z and his team. But at the end of the day, as I keep telling you guys, Jay-Z's not going to jail. Okay, Jay-Z is a person who, in my opinion, is very much so protected. Okay, I just think that he's very much so protected, and no matter what evidence comes out, jail. Now I'm going to go to this video by Megan Kelly. I'm not going to show it on the screen, but I'm going to let you hear what they have to say, because they seem to think that Jay-Z's accuser is absolutely lying, and she could be. As I said, she absolutely could be. I'm going to put an overlay on this because I don't have permission to use it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go.
Best to vet every. But here he is in this picture with Jay-Z, who is also known as Beyonce's husband. And now Jay-Z's been dragged into one civil suit by one of the Diddy accusers. And this now 30-something-year-old woman, I think she's 37 now, who claims that she was 13 years old at the time this happened to her, has filed a lawsuit through this lawyer who's suing P. Diddy in many cases. Like, this guy's going to build a summer home based on what he hopes to recover in his lawsuits.
Or three summer homes.
3. So he says that he's got this woman who, when she was 13 years old, she went to the VMA Awards in New York City, like by herself, looking to get in and meet celebrities. Not surprisingly, she says she couldn't get in. She says she decided to chat up the limo drivers waiting for the celebs outside, and that one of them said to her something to the effect of, "You look like Diddy's type." And that then she was brought back to Diddy's house after the VMA Awards at Rock Center in Manhattan in the year 2000. And that there she was raped. Not only, she was given something that made her feel drugged, a drink, and she was raped not only by Diddy, but also by Jay-Z. And that when Diddy then tried to come for her again that evening, she grabbed her clothes and ran out, and that her father picked her up at a gas station nearby the home. The father, and I presume she, lived 5 hours away in Rochester, New York. Now, unfortunately for this woman and her lawyer, this guy Busby, some inconsistencies have surfaced in the account. Most notably, that the father comes out and says, "That never happened. I never went and picked her up at any post Diddy party. I think I'd remember that. I live 5 hours away." And that would seem to be a near insurmountable problem for Mr. Busby in this lawsuit, Mark, but you tell me.
Well, when you say inconsistencies, that's about as charitable as you can get. And by the way, I'm going to ask Alex Spiro next time he calls him a Busby, the 1-800 lawyer. I call him the 1-800 Diddy lawyer. I mean, he's out there with the billboards. He's filing things anonymously. And then it turns out when Alex was doing his press conference yesterday, that not only was the description of the house impossible, 20 minutes outside of Manhattan, but virtually everything else about this story was impossible, not to mention, as you said, the father. But this is not the first time that one of these things as to Diddy has fallen apart. I mean, Gloria Allred brought a case that ended up falling apart. The lawyer I actually followed on one of the TV shows, a lawyer who brought 3 cases against Diddy, and he said that 60 people had come to his office talking about Diddy, but the 57 of them were so ridiculous that he didn't take them. Well, that tells you 95% of the people making the claims don't even pass the smell test for a lawyer, yet he's going to take 3 or vice versa. I mean, this is really, at the end of the day, if you look at the Diddy case, and you know, there's almost a service that has been done by them expanding it to Jay-Z. Everybody says there's all these celebrities involved. Well, so far, everybody says any minute the tape's going to drop, the tapes are being shopped, blah, blah, blah. The problem is that was in September. And now we're in December. Not one tape has been released that I have seen. No, not one other person who is an alleged victim has been identified. It's still a one accuser case that's being brought criminally. I think that a lot of this is totally overblown, and there isn't any indication. Everybody keeps talking about the Diddy parties. Where are the tapes of the Diddy parties where this is supposedly going on? Nobody's ever seen it. It's become like the Loch Ness Monster.
Mm.
And also, but Meg, let's talk about something historical that took place this week. And it's this case that you and I don't know how many stories we did on the original Kendall's court / Kelly's court. The young woman who she was young then, accused the Duke lacrosse players of raping
Crystal
her,
Mangum,
has now come out and said, yeah, I made the whole thing up, which is horrible as what she did was horrible. She's actually just committed like a little bit of a public service to show like, people do make these things up. Everyone's like, oh, make this up out of whole cloth. Oh, it just creates such a story. It never happens. Yeah, it actually does happen. Did happen. Those 4 kids' lives were ruined. Their families ruined, financially wiped out. A DA was brought to his knees out there. It was just, a despicable situation that happened. And now, I don't even know, almost 20 years later, she admits, yeah, I made the whole thing up. And this girl with the Jay-Z thing, I mean, her own father, he goes, yeah, I think I would remember if I drove 5 hours to pick up my daughter from a nightclub. But for Jay-Z, I agree with Mark that he did perform somewhat of a public service when his name came out, and he fought. He said, look, I feel bad for my kids. I feel bad they're going to have to hear about this, but I am not going to be extorted. I'm not giving a penny. I know I didn't do that. And I'll tell you, and Mark and I have represented these kinds of people. It is often a lot easier for them to fill out a 3-page document, a non-disclosure agreement, write out a check for an amount of money that's not going to change their quality of life, just make it go away. He probably could have done that here, but he didn't, and good for him.
Yeah, no, Jay-Z is denying it in the strongest terms, and he's responding to this. I'll get to her other inconsistencies in a second, but he's responding to the fact that she's been caught with some, apparent whoppers by saying today's investigative report proves that this, quote, attorney Busby filed a false complaint against me in pursuit of money and fame. The incident did not happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. This was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. And here are some of the other problems with her story as she told it through this lawyer. Okay, she claimed that she talked to specific celebrities at the Diddy after party. She said, for example, she spoke to musicians Fred Durst and Benji Madden. recalling a conversation, quoting here from a Washington Post report, about the Good Charlotte member's Last Supper tattoo. I have a religious background, she said, so it was something to talk about. Okay, but NBC News said a representative for Benji Madden confirmed that Benji, as well as his twin brother Joel, were touring in the Midwest at the time of the 2000 VMAs and did not attend the event. So there's that. There's the father, and then there is this. Okay. She claimed that she went back to the after party at Diddy's house to a large white residence with a giant U-shaped driveway. And NBC News is reporting that I guess there was a party, but it was at Lotus. Is that what it is? But they said that the building's now closed and it does not match the description of the place she claims she was taken at all. So there's a few things here that don't match up. And she is saying, I have made some mistakes, but she stands by her story saying, I may have gotten some of the details wrong, but I stand by it. But here's the capper. All right, this is the last piece of info for you guys. This is devastating. This is the worst part to me. Busby puts out a statement in the wake of this, right? This is terrible, Arthur. And he says, Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another law firm. So already it's bad. Like, we don't know Jane Doe, right? Somebody else did the legwork on this, who vetted it prior to sending it to us. I'm innocent. Don't hold it against me, Busby. Our client remains fiercely adamant that what she has stated is true to the best of her memory. I mean, how many qualifiers can you get in there? She is adamant that what she has stated is true to the best of her memory. And then says, we will continue to vet her claims. Hello? That should have been done before you file a lawsuit against Jay-Z and Diddy and collect corroborating data to the extent it exists. Okay, well, we will look forward to that, Mr. Busby. Then he claims she agreed to submit to a polygraph, though he doesn't claim she's actually sat for one yet. And then he says, we'll do our best to vet every claim made in all of our cases, just as we will in this case. This has been extremely distressing for her. Here we go. Ready? To the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress. I don't believe one word of that. She did not get seizures from the stress of this. Did she get seizures, Arthur Aidala?
I doubt she's gotten seizures. And, you know, as lawyers, we raise our hand the day you're sworn in and you take an oath. And some people take that oath more seriously than others. So I had a woman come in here, a woman, not a young woman, a woman, she's 38 years old, in the end of August. And she made these types of claims. And I have had
Okay, so listen. Now, listen, I'm going to stop it right there. I think we've heard enough. So basically, you know, they believe everything that Jay-Z is saying. And as I said, Jay-Z should be presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Okay, Jay-Z could absolutely be innocent. The young woman may have just made this all up. Who knows? Okay, Latasha said, I give that kind of drama all day, too. I love Queen so much. Thank you, beloved. Okay, but here's the thing. This is what I want you all to pay attention to. Claudia said, the fraudulent folks need to sit down somewhere so that the focus will be on the actual victims. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree, beloved. Now, but here's the thing. Miss Sheila said, I believe her father had addiction issues. Yes, he may have, because as I told you guys, when I produced my receipts of some of the things that she was, in my opinion, telling the truth about. Now, again, I can't verify if she's telling the truth about Jay-Z and Diddy graping her, but some of the things that she said, you know, I found some of the things that were, I found some of the things she said to be truthful. That's just my opinion. Okay, so with that all being said, let's talk about what they just said about the seizures. If you know anything about people with autism, Tactics TV said, I don't want Jay-Z to go to jail. I would like Jay-Z to be sent straight back to the Marcy Projects, broke and no money. beloved, that's a good one. Okay. That's a good one. Okay. You know, he's not going to jail, but maybe he will end up like that. I don't know. But here's the thing. Midnight Desiree says, so he can sell crack again. You all are terrible. Sierra Leone says, I agree. There are victims, and some are victims and some are not. Right. Now, with that all being said, but let's talk about how they said she didn't have seizures. How do they know? Because if they knew anything about autism, stress can absolutely cause an autistic person to have seizures. But don't just take my word for it. Let's find a receipt. Let's find a receipt, okay? Let me just look this up real quick. Okay, here it is right here. Neuroinflammation. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. I mean, they're just saying things. Now, again, I'm not saying that she's not lying, but some of these things are just not adding up. Now, as you can see right here, it says, I typed in, can stress cause seizures in people with autism? It says, yes, stress can cause seizures in people with autism. Neuroinflammation. Stress can trigger brain mast cell activation, which can lead to neuroinflammation and disruption of the blood-brain barrier. This could contribute to seizures. So what are they talking about? Are they doctors? Are they doctors? And then non-epileptic seizures, okay, goes on to say a host of things about this. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention because they should not, you know, they're just speculating. As you know, that's the same thing I'm doing basically. Okay, they're doing the same thing I'm doing basically, speculating. But nonetheless, I'm sorry, I put the wrong comment on the chat, wrong comment on the screen. Hold on. Here it is. If you drugged, how do you remember every detail? Thank you. That's another thing. Okay, these people who claim that they were given illegal substances, how could they be expected to remember everything? Okay, so like I said, I don't know if she's telling the truth, but this is what I do know. Let's go back to the receipts that I showed you guys. Okay, remember this video? September the 7th of 2000, just as the young woman said, J-Lo and Diddy went there together. Okay. Now, here's what the young woman said. This is taken from her lawsuit. I screenshot this. Okay, the lawsuit says the residence was filled with celebrities. I'm talking to like Fred Durst, Benji Madden about his tattoo, because you know about his tattoo that's like the Last Supper, because I have a religious background, so it was just something to talk about. Okay, so she said Fred Durst and Benji Madden, but here's the thing. Durst and Madden's teams did not immediately respond to the request for comment, but Madden's representative told NBC News that the musician did not attend the VMAs because he was on tour with his band Good Charlotte in the Midwest at the time. Well, that's not true. You see, that's not true. What I do is I sometimes trust, but I verify. Trust and verify. Now, with that all being said, here's what really happened. And here you see on this other screenshot, it says that the young lady, when she was being taken to the after party, it says after about 20 minutes in the limo, she said in the suit, she arrived at a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway. She said in the suit she was asked to sign a document that she didn't read. Now, here's the thing. Good Charlotte, they were not on tour during this time. Like the representative said, let's go back to it. I don't want you all to miss a thing. Durst and Madden's teams did not respond, but Madden's representative told NBC News the musician did not attend the VMAs because he was on tour with his band Good Charlotte in the Midwest at the time. That's not true. That's not true because Good Charlotte toured the United States in October and November of 2000. The VMAs was September the 7th, almost a whole month before. So he absolutely could have been at the after party. And also, they didn't say that he wasn't at the after party. You have to pay attention to what people say. The representative, of course, doesn't want to place him at the scene because we all know what has been alleged. And so if you're the person's PR person or the representative, you don't want to say that your client was there when something so ghastly has happened. because now they'll be dragged into it possibly, or may even be called to testify, be subpoenaed, or anything that they don't want to get involved in. So of course they would say, no, he wasn't there, and give an excuse. But I'm here to tell you that I fact check everybody and everything. And therefore, the representative was either lying on purpose or just misinformed, because their tour didn't start until October. So very likely they could have been there. But here's the thing. I also have another person who places Fred Durst at the after party. And I'll show you that video momentarily. Now, according to reports, remember, she said she was talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo of the Last Supper. So I looked up to see, does he actually have a tattoo of the Last Supper, which is considered a religious image? Yes, he does have it. Benji Madden has a tattoo of the Last Supper, which is considered a religious image. So he does have that tattoo. This is why I'm saying that she didn't lie. We're not getting into whether Jay-Z's guilty or not. That's for the courts to decide. And like I always say, for those of you who are new to the channel or just popping in for this story, I always say that all parties mentioned are presumed innocent until further proven. Now, however, I do give my own opinion as to whether or not I believe in the validity of the claims and whether or not the person or persons are in fact guilty or innocent. Now, here's my receipt for Eminem. She talked about Eminem being there at 2003. It was absolutely 2000, because if you remember, the young woman said in her lawsuit that Eminem was performing outside. And I'll get to that in a moment. I want to finish the PowerPoint first. She said that Eminem was performing outside. Okay, and there you see him outside with a bunch of Slim Shadys. There was a very epic and iconic performance. It says Eminem performed the real Slim Shady and The Way I Am at the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. The Detroit rapper started his performance outside Radio City Music Hall and then entered the venue while rapping, being followed by 100 lookalikes. Okay, so I want you all to pay attention. So absolutely, some of those things were consistent, but hold on. Auntie Leah says, thank you for all that you do. Happy holidays, Queen. We love you. Thank you, beloved, and I love you all right, Black. I appreciate you. Thanks for your kind words and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so now here's another thing that me and Lisa Cabrera talked about, I think the next day, about the house that the young woman talked about. She said it was a white house with a U-shaped driveway, and here's the house that I showed you when me and Lisa Cabrera went live. We said this house right here is in New Jersey, okay? This is a house that Diddy, in fact, owned. And this house, even though it's sort of a cream colored or off-white, it could absolutely look white at night. It says that same year, Sean Combs then did as Puff Daddy, or then known as Puff Daddy, and known as Diddy, now known as Diddy, dropped his first album. Okay, it says, hold on. Dropped his first album. The soon-to-be music mogul purchased an 11,067 square foot mansion in Saddle River for $2.5 million. Okay, he purchased this. He owned it at the time. Okay, he absolutely owned this beautiful mansion at the time. All right, so with that all being said, this could have been the mansion that she was at. So I'm just telling you guys, at the end of the day, was her father paid off? I don't know. But then let's go to my other receipt. Hold on, let me pull up this other receipt. There was a guy who placed Fred Durst at the scene of an after party after the 2000 VMAs. So I'm going to play that audio from the same video.
Another perspective that was given to it by one of the comedians that was doing like a kind of like podcast. And he's like, man, it's comedian Jeff Wittick. And he said, man, a freak off party in Miami was at a mansion that was like 8 stories high.
Wow.
And he said it just kept going up higher, and the higher you went up, the freakier it got. And he said it was like, he said it was a lingerie part, like a pajama part.
Okay.
And he was telling them that, he said, we were like, you don't understand these Diddy parties. I don't understand it because I saw live sex happening that night. And it was the first time I had ever seen that in my life. Did I partake? No. But he said, I definitely got drunk and it was crazy to see.
Yeah.
And I told you guys at that after party for the VMAs when we were in New York, that's when I saw the model dude who was Pamela Lee Anderson was dating this model dude, Shackelford or whatever at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Shackelford, I believe his name was. He was just some big white dude that looked like Baywatch.
Okay.
He was just a good looking dude. And they were full on, like me and Fred. How crazy is this? Me and Fred Durst.
Okay. Okay.
I swear to God.
I'm with
watching
you.
them.
Me and Fred. All right, so we're there's a couch area, there's a bunch of bottles, there's a club, and it's a private party. So everybody in there is a guest of this party. It's Diddy's after party.
Gotcha.
And that was the day that when you saw, if you Google J-Lo and Diddy, you'll see them in all white with her with a white headband
I know
that was
exactly
bedazzled or whatever.
Yes.
So that was that night.
Okay.
So they're up in the booth, standing up with the bottles, and they hugged up, and there's stars everywhere. So we're upstairs, and in a VIP area, Pamela Anderson is on something.
Okay.
And the dude that she was with, Shackelford or somebody like that, was next to her, and he was in his bag too.
Okay.
All of a sudden, they start kissing. And I'm like standing there looking down at everybody downstairs, and then I look over and see that, and I look to my right, and Fred Durst is looking at it too. I'm like, it's like a movie right here.
Oh
He's
my
like, I
God.
know. He's like, it get any better. I'm just gonna sit down and find some popcorn. And so we looked over there again, and he's under her like business.
Oh wow.
Like they going
Under her dress.
heavier, like where it's like.
Okay, so I want you all to pay attention. So that man said that Fred Durst was at an after party. Now, he didn't say that they were at the same residence that the young lady said, but he clearly said Fred Durst was at the after party. And the 2000 VMAs, how do we know it was the 2000 VMAs? Because he said Diddy and J-Lo showed up together and they were both in white. J-Lo was wearing all white with a headband. He said all of that. I don't know if I played that part for you just now, but that part's in that video. Okay, so please pay attention. At the end of the day, some of the things that she said absolutely did add up. I'm not saying that all of what she said was true, but some of these things absolutely did add up, okay, as far as I'm concerned. Now, with that all being said, and let's not act like Jay-Z is such a little angel, because let's go back to some of the things that I have shared about Jay-Z in the past. Let's go to some of my TikToks, for example, because I was calling Jay-Z out on his bullshit even before he got accused in this lawsuit with Diddy. Okay, and I'm going to be re-uploading some of those videos soon. Now, please pay attention. Funded the Surviving R. Kelly. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Some people believe that Jay-Z funded the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, and they have a good reason for thinking so. So let's get into it. Now, R. Kelly says that during the Best of Both Worlds tour, Jay-Z became very envious of him because he was the higher paid performer. And this animosity, he claims, led to Jay-Z deliberately causing lighting issues and technical issues or getting people to do so. Also, he says there were threats against him and says that there were even threats to have the promoters kick him off of the tour. He says one night someone in the audience pointed a weapon at him and he had to flee the stage. When he was given the all clear by the security guards and tried to return to the stage, well, Jay-Z's friend, Tyron Smith, actually maced him. Please pay attention. This man pictured with Jay-Z is the man who supposedly sprayed R. Kelly with the mace. Now, he was treated at the hospital and then released. And FYI, I think that's Jay-Z's undercover lover. I think that Taryn, aka Tata, is Jay-Z's boyfriend. That's just what I think, and that's my opinion. I mean, look how they're always hugged up. And I've shown you a myriad of pictures where they're closer than close and looking sweeter than most. Please pay attention. But after that whole incident, which occurred at the Madison Square Garden, well, the promoters, Atlanta Worldwide Touring, they fired R. Kelly. Now, this was in the middle of a 40-city tour that had been plagued with cancellations. R. Kelly then went on to file a $75 million breach of contract lawsuit against Jay-Z, and Jay-Z countersued. Now, his countersuit was dismissed. Afterwards, Jay-Z had to settle with R. Kelly for an undisclosed amount of cash. And I'm sure this would tick anyone off, especially someone with an ego as big as Jay-Z's. Please pay attention. During the incident at Madison Square Garden, when R. Kelly wasn't allowed to return to the stage, Jay-Z went out and hyped up the crowd and told them, "One monkey don't stop no show."
I really tried to hold this thing together. I really tried. I was really patient. I was really freaking patient. I'm telling you, just you know how it goes. One monkey don't stop a show, I tell you.
After that incident, both men would rush to Angie Martinez's show to give their sides of the story, which were very different. And the woman in the picture here is Dream Hampton, as she's the one who is the executive producer of Surviving R. Kelly. Please pay attention.
He put his money behind a project that cost this man his life in prison. Well, could, because I got faith that R. Kelly gonna get out now.
I surely don't think it's a coincidence that the woman who executive produced Surviving R. Kelly is such good friends with Jay-Z. Please pay attention. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, what heterosexual man do you know that calls himself by the name of Tata? And then he had the nerve to mace R. Kelly. He was that mad because Jay-Z and R. Kelly were getting into it. I just want y'all to pay attention, honey, at the end of the day. Right, I find it all very interesting. But hold on, let's not stop here. Let's continue. Because Nicki Minaj had some things to say about Jay-Z as well. Minaj and the supposed... Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. So I told you I would be back with an update about Nicki Minaj and the supposed arrest. So let's get into it. Just hours ago, while Nicki was on an Instagram Live, she was arrested by Dutch police after they accused her of having illegal substances.
Second,
Tell me again.
the police officer told me we have to offload all the luggage
Okay.
and to search everything
Okay.
of your luggage. I'm so sorry to say that.
But isn't that what you planned on doing from the get-go? Why didn't you guys search it before it went on the plane?
They did just a random quick check, but now they want to open
Why?
it. And first of all, because you filmed him, and he was like,
Because I filmed him.
yeah, he was like, he doesn't believe that you don't have more with you than you said.
No, he asked me, do I have any more in those purses? And I said no. And I asked him, where are my bags? They took my bags and put it on the plane before I could know what bags are on the
I
plane.
see.
So,
I'm so sorry for that.
okay, of course.
Nicki Minaj, whose real name is Onika Tanya Mirage Petty, was traveling to Manchester, England from Amsterdam to perform a concert for her Pink Friday 2 World Tour when all of this transpired. So even though the police have not named the person that was actually arrested, when they were questioned as to whether or not it was Nicki Minaj, they simply replied that they had arrested a 41-year-old American woman at Schiphol Airport. Please pay attention. They said the person that was arrested was in possession of soft illegal substances. Apparently, Nicki thinks that someone's trying to sabotage her tour because she posted saying that they're being paid big money to try to sabotage my tour because so many people are mad that it's this successful and they can't eat off me. They got caught stealing money from my travel and jets, got fired, got mad, etc. This is how they plant things in your luggage. This is what another post said. Then she says, they're trying to keep me from Manchester. Then she posted saying they didn't know I was planning for them just like they were planning for me. Me filming every single thing made them really mad. She also posted saying now they found weed and that another group of people have come here to weigh the pre-rolls. Keep in mind, they took my bags without consent. My security has already advised them those pre-rolls belong to him. Oh yeah, and the pilot wants me to take my IG post down. Okay, isn't that something? Like they don't get to tell her what to do about her IG post. But anyway, I digress. So apparently Nicki thinks the people that she fired for stealing her money are likely being paid by someone to sabotage her career. And I wonder who she thinks is paying them. Could it be that it's Jay-Z and Beyonce? Because she said sabotage. Someone's trying to sabotage her tour. And months ago, she said that someone was trying to sabotage her as well when she called out Jay-Z and Beyonce for allegedly purchasing streams for Make the Stallion. So with that all being said, I think the writing is pretty much on the wall. Please pay attention. It sounds like a whole setup, is all I'm saying. Like someone was trying to do everything they could do to get Nicki from performing that concert. And it looks like they pretty much succeeded because despite all of Nicki's best efforts to try and make the show happen tonight, I mean, she tried everything possible. Well, it looks like it's just not going to happen due to today's events. Please pay attention. They say we're deeply disappointed by the inconvenience this may have caused. So I agree with Nicki. I absolutely think that someone was trying to sabotage her. I mean, this all sounds really nefarious. And at the end of the day, it's unfortunate that her fans will now have to suffer because they'll have to wait until the whole thing's rescheduled. But in the meantime, I'm just glad that Nicki's free. Now I want you all to pay attention because if you recall, I reported to you how Jay-Z's alleged son, Ramir Satterway, says that there was a gun found in his vehicle and he was arrested. So somebody clearly set him up too, allegedly. Wonder who that was, Jay-Z. Hey, I just have several questions, but let's not stop there because there's more. Please pay attention. Because I want you all to remember just the other day, and you heard it here first, I told you all how Jay-Z's low down nefarious self used the lyrics to clown Aaliyah, the beautiful Aaliyah who he was upset, in my opinion, with because she didn't want him because she chose Dame Dash. And, you know, people have said that Jay-Z was in love with Aaliyah. And so he was likely bitter and scorned, just like a woman. Okay, please pay attention. And here's the thing. Why I bring up the fact of him and his friend Tata possibly being lovers. You know, there's nothing wrong with he has a lover. There's nothing wrong with being zesty. There's nothing wrong with being gay at all. But the reason I point that out in the case of Jay-Z is because here's the thing. If he's been hiding that for all these decades, and that's a big if because I can't substantiate it, but if he's been hiding that for all these decades, what else is he hiding? Is all I'm saying. How much do people really know him? Okay, but let's continue. And like I said, let's not forget how he clowned Aaliyah, okay, in one of his songs, talking about the overweighted luggage on a plane or something to that effect. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. I have several questions about the death of Aaliyah, especially since Mary J. Blige said that from what she knew, it wasn't supposed to go down that way. Let's get into it. Aaliyah expressed concerns about the safety of the plane and she refused to get on it. Lenny Kravitz sent his own private jet for her to fly in, but Hype Williams, the director of the video that she was in the Bahamas shooting, decided he would take the private jet. They say that later someone gave Aaliyah a pill and this made her pass out and she was carried aboard the plane. Please pay attention. No one said anything about the fact that Aaliyah had been given a pill that caused her to pass out until 2 decades later. That's when Kathy Ian Doley was writing a book titled Baby Girl, better known as Aaliyah. She interviewed witnesses, and one of which was Kingsley Russell, a man who at the time of her death was 13 years old. His family owned the taxi service that Aaliyah used while she was in the Bahamas. He says that someone got into the taxi with her and gave her the pill. Hype Williams has never explained why he decided to take that private jet and leave Aaliyah there to fend for herself with that plane that she clearly felt was unsafe. There's also allegations that someone called Aaliyah's choreographer, Fatima, and told her that Dame Dash had been involved in an accident. Now, why would someone do this unless they were just trying so desperately to make sure that Aaliyah got on that plane, trying to have her in a rush? But Fatima and a few others decided to stay in the Bahamas an extra day, so they didn't get on the plane. Mary J. Blige had something interesting to say about Aaliyah's death. Please pay attention.
Simple obedience, like, you know, I just know that that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not. Because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof. You know what I'm saying? For what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair. And it wasn't time. You know, it wasn't. I believe it wasn't her time to go because, from what I know, it ain't supposed to go down like that. And just simple obedience, like.
What exactly did Mary J. Blige mean when she said that it was a spiritual red rum? Also, when she said that from what she knew, it wasn't supposed to go down like that. Well, what did she know? And how exactly was it supposed to go down? I have questions. And not only in that interview did Mary say that, she also said the same thing on Oprah's show. And Oprah has deleted that video, according to sources. Now, I find it all very interesting. What is a spiritual red rum? Well, it sounds like a sacrifice to me. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like. And if you look at the word spiritual and you remove the first 3 letters, what do you have left? A ritual. Please pay attention. I also don't think it's a coincidence that Lisa Left Eye Lopez lost her life about 8 months after Aaliyah's. I mean, what are the chances? We all know that Aaliyah was Beyonce's main competition. She was beautiful and she was also a triple threat. She could sing, dance, and act. The same things that Beyonce does. Left Eye was a member of the group TLC, which was the main competition for Destiny's Child. I think both of their deaths are absolutely connected and that someone or some people didn't want them here. They also had premonitions about their deaths. Lisa had reoccurring dreams of being chased by a spirit. A week prior to her death, she hit a little boy in Honduras accidentally and he lost his life. His last name was also Lopez. At the time, Lisa said that the spirit that was chasing her, that was trying to take her life, accidentally took the little boys by mistake. Also, a month before Aaliyah passed away, she spoke to a German magazine and told them that she had a recurring dream, that she's in the darkness and someone's following her and she didn't know why. She was afraid. And then suddenly she lifts off and she's flying away. She feels as though she's swimming through the air and she feels peaceful and no one can reach her. It was a feeling of being free. So please pay attention. I think there was absolutely something more nefarious working when both of these young women lost their lives. Please pay attention because why would Jay-Z be clowning Aaliyah? Okay, that was just all nefarious at the end of the day. Okay, that was just all nefarious at the end of the day. And with that all being said, hold on. There's one more that I did. Because like I told you, I've been going in on Jay-Z before any of this even started. Have escalated so much. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. The beef between Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion seems to have escalated so much so that she's calling out the CEO of Roc Nation, Desiree Perez, and she just may expose Jay-Z as well. She seems to think, allegedly, that Jay-Z and Beyonce have tried to turn Meg Thee Stallion into a carbon copy of her. Let's get into it. Now, according to sources, Nicki has accused Jay-Z and Beyonce of buying streams for Meg Thee Stallion to increase her numbers, basically rigging the game against her. Please pay attention. In a post, Nicki referenced both Meg Thee Stallion and Desiree, the CEO of Roc Nation, saying, spending so much money, but she's the little broke independent artist. Desiree, you gotta let it go, baby. The world knows she's ASS and can't rap. Stop effing trying to make fetch happen. In another post, she says, in the next song, I'll delve into all the people Desiree allegedly fired for unknown reasons, other things as well. So many people were blindsided by her. Allegedly, she's willing to go broke to try to replace me. Hashtag fix it Jesus. Hashtag Bigfoot. Now, in Nicki's Queen doc, she opened up about an abusive relationship. Now, allegedly, sources are saying she was talking about Meek Mill and says that someone from Roc Nation called her and told her to take out the parts of the doc that included him. Please pay attention.
When my mother would let my father be violent with her. And she always brings up the story as a little girl. I would stand in front of my mother and go like this. And I vowed, like, that's why I'm, like, maybe some people would describe me as abrasive or bitchy or whatever, because I vowed from that age, no man would ever abuse me, call me out my name, treat me like that. And then all of a sudden, that was my life.
Now, there are some things about the CEO, Desiree Perez, that some of you may not know. So let's talk about it. Perez was the wife of longtime Jay-Z wingman Juan Perez, who is now the head of Roc Nation Sports. But in 1994, the Perez family was rounded up in a major investigation in South Florida. That year, 19 people, including Desiree Perez, were indicted in a federal investigation. After her arrest in 1994 for conspiracy with intent to distribute narcotics, Perez cooperated with the U.S. Attorney's Office and received a sentence of 5 years probation. Among other offenses, she was later charged with parole violation and served 9 months in prison in 1999. She was a whole federal informant. Please pay attention. But in the final hours of 45's presidency, he commuted 70 prison sentences and pardoned 73 people, one of whom was Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez. Please pay attention. This is all nefarious. And let's not forget that when Jay-Z made the deal with the NFL and turned his back on Colin Kaepernick, he said, I think we're past kneeling now. And when he said that, who was sitting right behind him other than Desiree Perez? And if you ask me, she looked clearly pressed. And I'm pretty sure it was because she likely had no idea what Jay-Z was going to say. Okay, so like I'm saying, honey, there's been allegations of Jay-Z being nefarious and doing people dirty and all of that going on for decades. Okay, just going on for decades. So with that all been said, can you guys please get the likes up? Okay, please get the likes up. Thank you, Auntie Leah, for asking. Okay, so listen, one more thing before I go, because Larry Johnson came out and said some things about Jay-Z and Beyonce having parties with kids there. Let us not forget. And him and Jay-Z used to be roommates, did they not? And didn't they break up? I mean, I'm sorry, didn't they fall out? Okay, and why did they break up? I'm sorry again, I mean fall out. Why did they fall out? Well, among many other things, Jay-Z is known for having a tight circle. Even though he's on a low-key reconciliation tour these days, there are several people who he's been seen with for an era. Then, all of a sudden, never again. Dame Dash is the most notorious example. One of the former Rockefeller soldiers, Benny Siegel, gripes is feeling like he was left behind as Jay-Z ascended the corporate ladder. See, Jay-Z didn't have time for people. Once he got to certain status, he didn't have time for these folks anymore. Okay, and that's because he's made his other connections with people who don't look like him. Now, ditto, Jazz O. Many hope that doesn't become the case with Kanye. Though everyone has their own particular story, it seems like it all fits a general trend. If he doesn't think you're a good look, he'll cut you off. Isn't that what he's done to Diddy? Now, mind you, this is an old article from 2017, December of 2017. So if he doesn't think you're a good look, suddenly he'll cut your ass off. That's why he said that he was never friends with Diddy. Please pay attention. Now, that's the case of Larry Johnson, a former all-pro football player who was close to Jay-Z for a period in the late 2000s. Now, he threw up the Rockefeller Diamond after scoring touchdowns. He was in Rockaware ads. He was in the star-studded Rock Boys video. They even shared a condo at the Trump Tower. Unfortunately, Johnson and Jay-Z's friendship ended. Now, Johnson's violent streak eventually cost him the friendship and a whole lot more. So in a heartbreaking Washington Post feature, which touches on mental torment, the mental torment that Johnson's going through as a result of his lengthy football life, there is a small bit about Jay-Z cutting him off over email because he kept getting arrested. So, honey, you get locked up. Jay-Z didn't have time for you. Okay, he doesn't have time for you. Said it was because he kept getting arrested. He said, they say it's unknown when their break occurred, but it seems like Jay frowned upon Johnson constantly getting into it with the law, specifically his 5 arrests for assault and battery. Now, including waving a gun at one of his girlfriends and spitting a drink in a woman's face at a nightclub. Now, the article states that Johnson started feeling the symptoms of rage and depression consistent with so many football players suffering from the brain degenerating CTE, okay, at his Penn State alma mater. Now, Johnson sought to prove his toughness in nightclubs and fights with women, according to the article. 38-year-old Johnson, a powerful running back who holds an NFL record for rushes in a single season with 416, can't yet take a test to prove if he has CTE, as it's only available for deceased players as of now. Now, he says he suffers from unbearable headaches, violent mood swings, and has even made a video with highlights and pictures of him with his daughter. So, with that all been said, Jay-Z cut him off after all those arrests. Okay. All right. And so anyway, Navy Bean says Jonathan Hayes says Jay-Z, Ray J, and B have 3-way, and Jay likes to watch allegedly. Yeah, I heard him saying something about that, and also saying that Jay-Z is bi, and he said that's not allegedly. Now, for me, that's alleged because I don't know that for a fact, but Jonathan Hayes said that's not an allegation. That's absolutely true. Okay, so I want you all to pay attention. With that all been said, we cannot be caping for these celebrities because we don't know what in the hell they do behind closed doors. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Now, with that all been said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate it. All right. And thank you all once again. Please like, share, subscribe. Okay, like, share, and subscribe. All right, each one teach one. Hold on, Dan. Who are you going in on? Are you getting out of pocket? Is anybody getting out of pocket? Okay, moderators. Moderators, we're going to have a brief meeting. We're going to have a brief meeting after this for like 10 minutes because I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. TC Dan said, everyone stopping with the gay and straight back and forth, the childish and disrespectful and so distracted. I'm not going to tolerate it. Y'all heard what Dan said. Now listen, better not nobody be in here going in on anybody for being gay. If people are gay, that's their business, okay? At the end of the day. And as I said, when I'm talking about Jay-Z possibly being undercover, I only mentioned that to just show that he may have things hidden about himself. So people that are caping for him saying that he hasn't done other things, you don't know that to be true. Okay, because if someone can hide their entire lifestyle, what else can they hide? Now, I'm not saying that he absolutely is. I'm just saying that I think he is. Okay, so that all been said. Okay, I love you all to life. I will not tolerate bigotry or racism in my chat from anyone. All right, and that includes my own moderators, period. Okay, so that all been said. I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. April says, thank you, Queen. See you all on the next broadcast. Love you all to life. And I love you right, Black beloved. All right. And so you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day.
Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got